Hello guys, this is CppiLove here, and this is going to be my first episode, a tutorial on how to program C++, JavaScript, HTML, all that stuff. But my first one, of course, is going to be C++. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm using Xcode. That is, as you can see, I'm on Mac. It's only for Mac. It's if you go to Applications in the App Store, search Xcode. It's published by Apple for free. And just install it and stuff. It's 4 gigabytes, so it's pretty big. So once you have that installed, you can drag it to your toolbar or wherever you want to, and just click it. And you should get this little startup window. See, I've already been coding some stuff, but what you're interested, don't unclick this because you always want to show this window when Xcode starts, because this is how you create one or do other stuff. So what we're going to do is create a new Xcode project, and as you can see, it loads. Now, what you want to do is, I think it should be like default or iOS, which is iPods, iPhones, iPads. You want to go to OS X, because that's Mac, and go to Application. And as you can see, we have 3 choices here: a Cocoa Application, Apple Script, and a Command Line Tool. You want to click the Command Line tool and click Next. Now see, I just entered this random thing because now on Xcode you have to enter your organization name and your company identifier. So, hold on, let me just do that. You can name this anything you want. I'd name it Hello World because that is what we're going to be doing right now. You can have anything for these spaces. It doesn't really matter, And under type right here, it should be on either Core Foundation or Foundation. Just go to C++ because that's the tutorial we're doing. So click Next, and you can leave that one checked and click Create. Now this is the next thing that comes up. As you can see, we have our hello world.xcode project or proj. So you want to go to the left, and this is your CPP file. This is what runs. This is your whole thing. This is the code that you build, and you run it. So, just delete all that, because we want to start from scratch so you can learn. Now, the first thing we want to do is put a hashtag, which is Shift3, and type include. Now, include, or hashtag include, means it includes something from a whole library of things. Basically, when Apple published this, the reason it's 4 gigabytes is they made a bunch of libraries that you can use, and I'll talk more about that later, but you want to include the IO stream and stream. And what IO stream stands for is input-output stream, and that basically means input, like people typing into your code, or people typing into your application, and O, which is output, printing things to them. So that's why we want to include the IO stream. Now the next space we're going to use is called using namespace, and you can just click enter and it'll enter it for you, and the identifier is std. Now before you make fun of me for saying std in Xcode and stands for standard, so we're using the namespace standard. I'll talk more about that later, but it's basically, as I'm going to describe it right now, it's going to save us some typing. I'll talk more about the standard namespace later. So now you want to come down here more to your code. It's good to have spacing because then other people and you can read your code very nicely. So, and what we want to type is int main. See, because our class is main. And you want to put parentheses and the left curly bracket. And when you press enter, the right curly bracket should automatically go. You can click Command S right now, and it saves. And at the end of this code, we want to return 0. Now, you're wondering why we return 0, because we made a main folder, which is, it's looking for a main thing to do, and we set it as a value called int. Now, I'll be releasing a video on values and strings and ints. An int is just a short thing for integer, and an integer is a whole number. So if we created this, then we need to return an integer because we created one. And if our whole program goes right, like everything that we make, it asks the computer for memory so it can run, and it says, okay, the computer says, okay, here, take the memory. And when your code is done, the application gives the memory back. So now what we want to do is we actually want to print out hello world. So we're going to do cout, which is C as in C++ and out. So it's going to outprint to the user. And you want to do left operation, and parentheses, or no, those aren't parentheses, talkie thingies, I don't know, double quotes, that's what they are, and a semicolon. Now, the reason we have a semicolon, as you can see after this one, and this one, is because semicolon is like the end of a command that it tells the computer to do. So you always want to put a semicolon. Now, there are some exceptions to not putting semicolons, but for cout and return and using namespace, you want to do that for all of them. So, we want to cout hello. I can't spell today. Hello. Oh, I got it right. Hello world. So what it's telling it to do, we're using the namespace standard. I'll explain that. And we created a main class. And what it's doing right now is it's printing out to the user hello world, and then it's returning the memory back. So you can click Command S for saving it, and we can go up to this run button, and it'll automatically build it, compile it. And as you can see down here, the output says hello world. So we outputted it to the user, hello world. I think in the next tutorial, I'm going to be doing input so they can type things. And that's the first episode on hello world. Thanks for watching CppiLove. Comment, like, subscribe. Thank you, and goodbye.